Hello. Kind of caught me mid-ride here. No idea why I didn't stop and start in the garage. Could be some editing thing. I don't know. Could be missing a whole segment. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about riding in the city. At some point, I'm sure I'll do some kind of like, here are the 7 tricks and tips to riding the city or whatever. That day's not today. But I did want to kind of go over just my experience, especially as a new rider. Again, I've only been riding for like 4 or 5 months or so, and all that time has essentially been spent learning riding in the city on a ridiculous bike. Essentially a chainsaw on buttered bread, or whatever the saying is. Anyway, if you're not prepared to ride offensively, or at the very least super defensively in the city, or just in general, and just like you'll still do fine, as long as you have whatever good experience. But you like if you're not in that mindset, I just don't think you're going to have as good of a time riding in the city. I just don't think it's going to happen, because I get so many people that comment and that I talk to that are like, man, I can't imagine riding in the city. That must drive you nuts. Or like, I've been riding for 20 years and I rode in the city once and never again. Like, I get that. I totally understand that. First of all, riding in the city is all I know, right? Like, yeah, I've been upstate, I've been in New Jersey, I've ridden on roads that are not absolute and utter chaos 100% of the time. And like, I can't tell you what I appreciate more. Like, I don't know if I like those roads more than riding in New York City. I think for me, I'm okay riding on whatever. I get a very different kind of enjoyment riding in the city than I do on those open roads. Just the other day I went upstate and went on the twisties, and man, that was exhilarating and super, super enjoyable. But I also look forward to getting back to New York City and riding on these roads. But I also I don't know. I love riding in the city because I feel like I have the right mindset. I ride, as you can see, very, very defensively, almost offensively. Not so much that I'm considered an asshole, even though, some people may think that I'm riding an asshole. But I also think that a lot of riders are kind of misunderstood. Like, for me, I see, not so much from in-state, but certainly out-of-state, people get pissed off that, especially like when I'm doing shit like this, gonna get past them. I just want to be like, listen, I'm not the enemy, right? I'm gonna get past you anyway, and I'll be way ahead, right? You're not fighting me. It is a crazy text because I didn't think I was gonna make that one. But just let me go, right? And if they're gonna continue to be an asshole, if they're driving aggressively or rolling down the window, I haven't really had that happen to people. I'll speed up and I'll get away from them, right? And bystanders may look at that as an asshole behavior, but I'm just trying to get away from danger, right? Because really, at the end of the day, aggression doesn't who's that going to benefit? I'm not going around smashing mirrors. I got enough wrist problems of my own. Don't go around smashing mirrors. It's stupid. No one wins in that situation. I've seen people do it. I've heard of people do it, but it's not worth it. So, you've just got to be in the mindset. It's possible for anyone as long as you've got the experience and as long as you're ready for it. But to really enjoy riding in the city, you've got to be in that mindset. You've got to understand that, if you're not going to exert your authority and show the other drivers that you own a piece of this road as well, then you're just going to get trampled, right? You just won't enjoy yourself. Speaking of road, use the whole road, exactly like I'm doing here. A lot of that is just to keep you away from danger. Go down the middle and get in front of everyone at a red light, right? Removes the possibility of anyone rear-ending you. Go around people so you're not stuck in these kind of half-pregnant situations where all it takes is a guy not paying attention and smashes right into you. You're on a bike, which is whatever, I don't know, a third or a quarter of the size, the width of a car. So use that to your advantage. Use the whole road. I try not to use the bike lanes. The times that I will use them habitually are the times where I just need to kind of like, dump into one just to kind of like get away from something or avoid something, or like cut in front of just a couple of cars to get to the front, like I'll do here. But and technically here, like if you'll see, I won't go directly into the bike lane. I'll kind of like stay out of it, just to get in front, right? And again, like I said before, this whole perimeter, this whole line right here before the crosswalk and after where the car stopped, that's totally fine for bikes, totally legal, 100%. And then, like this guy that just blew past me, use speed to your advantage. Get away from stuff. Not so much that you're running people over like I was did here, but that's really their own fault, right? They're crossing on greens. You gotta watch out for it. But like, just look ahead. Look at all of these people crossing on their red lights and my greens. There's just shit like that all over the place. You gotta watch out for it. Be in that mindset. Use speed to your advantage. Get out of those sticky situations. Looking at the scooter and the bike on the left hand side over here. There's one group that doesn't need fucking tips and tricks video, and it's scooters and electric bikes. They don't need tips. Every fucking thing goes. They get me so worked up, and it's not the. I don't know what the solution here is, right? Like, I don't know if I want them to abide by the same laws as motorcyclists have, or vice versa. I don't know, but like, it's gotten so fucking out of hand that like, I've seen guys pull into like oncoming traffic, take sidewalks all the time. It's just, I don't know. It's for their own safety, honestly. But for sure, like, it's not pedestrians that own the road in New York City. It's not cars. It's the delivery guys, people on bikes, that guy on the right-hand side going the wrong way. They own the streets of New York City. Anyway, I'm going down to, I don't know how to say the brand name. Dayanese, whatever. To pick up my new photochromic visor that's like silver on the outside. And then after that, I'm heading over to see my buddy at Brooklyn Moto in Brooklyn. I'll put up a video of that later of me crossing bridge there and back. It really is beautiful. And see this guy on the left-hand side, no idea what he's doing. Just gotta be ready for it. Just like, again, pay attention 100% of the time. Look left, right, look ahead. Like, just anticipate all of the crazy, batshit crazy shit that drivers, pedestrians, bikers will do. And just know that, like, at any moment, you may have to make an invasive maneuver. And again, it's not as scary. It's not as crazy as you think. It's just about the mindset. If you go into the mindset of being like, okay, I'm going to be, like, fully alert, this is going to be an exciting experience, do it. It's all yours. Like listen to the right music if that makes you feel better, right? If that puts you in the right mindset. Like, even like this track that's going on in the background, this is very much the kind of stuff that, like, if I was to listen to music while riding in the city, this is what I would listen to. If it's your first or second time going into the city, do not listen to music, right? Like, don't tune out. That's probably a bad idea, right? You'll want to be like 100% alert. You'll want to be completely present for the experience. You want to know the sounds. You want to hear the sounds. You want to, you don't want anything kind of clouding decisions. Whatever. You want to be totally present. Anyway, so I'm going to Brooklyn Moto to figure out an issue that I have with these people. To figure out an issue that I had with him ordering my slave clutch, or slave cylinder for my clutch. I'm trying to ease up on the force that it takes to pull in the clutch, especially in the city since I'm doing it so often. The unit that I got didn't fit the 1200S, especially for this particular year, because they changed something for this year. And Bellissimoto, which is the place that they ordered it from, was also like super confused. So, long story short, there. Pay attention to this guy in the Audi, by the way, on the left-hand side. He'll come up again. Anyway, long story short, there. I called Bellissimoto. They dug into it right at the start, I think, of like 2020 or 2019. My bike said 2020. They changed the way that the shaft was manufactured. So they're going to send me a different cylinder or whatever. So like I try to go completely hands-free here, but I just didn't trust this guy in the Audi so much on the left-hand side. He's just driving a little bit too aggressively. Kind of really close to me, and just, I don't know. 9 out of 10 times nothing happens in these situations, but like, you just avoid it, right? Either accelerate out or like, just, switch to another lane if you can, if you're on a highway. Just avoid the shit out of that situation. In this case, I think he had Jersey plates, and I know that the tunnel up here splits over to the left. I know he's going through the tunnel, and I know I'm not. So I'm just, the whole thing will resolve itself anyway. He's going to go his own way on the left, and then I'm going to keep going. If it's your first or second time in the city, you're not going to know kind of like the hot spots in terms of like, there's a lot of tourist traffic here, so you got to really watch out. Or there's a lot of like, or like it gets to be really busy over here. There's a lot of pedestrians. Like if you're going through like part of SoHo, tons of pedestrians. If you're going through like Penn Station, tons of pedestrians and tourists. So like there's certain areas that you really kind of either want to stay away from or really pay attention to. This move gets pretty spicy. This going on the sidewalk was actually a recommendation from the Dainese staff. Apparently there's this odd law in the city where if one of your tires is on the bike's is on the store's property, you're good. Anyway,